Some fathers were in the house, but never truly in the child's life. They paid the bills, they provided food, they showed up in photographs, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, they were absent. And sometimes, the deepest wounds are not caused by abandonment. They are caused by being unseen by the man whose presence was supposed to feel like safety. Today, we uncover the silent crisis shaping sons, daughters, relationships, confidence, identity, and even entire societies. This is not just a conversation about fathers who left. It is about fathers who stayed, but were never truly present. Hi, I'm Chinedu Ebo. Thank you for joining us again in this episode of the Advertent Family Life podcast. We cannot deny the fact that family is the bedrock of society. In our previous episodes, we delved into various subjects such as the cyclic implications of fatherlessness, boys need fathers, the woman and her broken past, among others. These are thought-provoking podcasts you wouldn't want to miss. You can check our channel for these videos. I want to say thank you to all our subscribers, and I humbly request that if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell so that you can be notified every time we drop content. Thank you. Today, we are exploring the absence of a present father. In the world today, we have the father who always provided but never connected. There's a dangerous misconception in many societies, especially across Africa, Asia, parts of Europe, and even America, that fatherhood begins and ends with provision. Did I not pay school fees? Did I not feed you? Did I not put a roof over your head? But children do not only need survival, they need presence, emotional presence, intentionality, safety, attention, conversation, affection, guidance, and validation. Research across multiple countries continues to show that emotional father absence affects children far beyond childhood, influencing mental health, emotional regulation, education, identity, and adult relationships. A father can provide everything financially and still leave his child emotionally starving. Because provision without connection creates children who survive but do not feel seen. And many men today were raised by fathers who never truly knew them. Fathers who never asked, what scares you? What are your dreams? Who hurt you? What's happening inside your mind? The child learns very early, my emotions are inconvenient, so they bury them. And buried emotions do not disappear, they mature on the ground. A boy without emotional connection from his father often grows into a man at war with vulnerability, not because he was born cold, but because softness never felt safe. Research from the UK and the United States has linked father absence and emotional disengagement with increased depression, emotional instability, externalizing behavior, and long-term mental health struggles. Many sons grow up learning masculinity through silence. Man up. Stop crying. Be strong. But strength without emotional intelligence becomes armor, and armor is heavy. Some men today do not know how to communicate emotions, receive love, trust intimacy, process rejection, handle vulnerability. So they replace emotion with anger, sarcasm, detachment, hyperindependence, aggression, ambition. Many boys become performers instead of emotionally whole human beings. They become addicted to proving themselves. Success becomes therapy. Money becomes validation. Women become emotional bandages. Achievement becomes a cry for love. And underneath the confidence is often a little boy still asking, why wasn't I worth your attention? Now, daughters who grew in homes where the father was emotionally absent have invincible wounds. A daughter's relationship with her father quietly shapes how she sees herself, not perfectly, but powerfully. When a father is emotionally absent, a daughter may internalize silence as rejection. She may grow up constantly seeking reassurance, validation, affection, attention, not because she's weak, but because part of her emotional foundation was never fully built. Many women spend adulthood trying to earn emotionally unavailable love because emotional inconsistency became familiar in childhood. Online discussions and psychological literature consistently describe long-term struggles with trust, self-worth, emotional security, and relationship stability among daughters who experienced emotional or physical father absence. Some daughters grow up believing love must be chased, affection must be earned, abandonment is inevitable, so they tolerate emotional neglect, toxic relationships, inconsistency, and manipulation because chaos feels emotionally familiar. And sometimes the wound does not appear loudly. Sometimes it appears in overachievement, perfectionism, people-pleasing, fear of disappointing others, fear of not being enough. It's interesting that across the world the story is the same. This is not just an American problem, it is global. In Africa, many fathers were raised in cultures where emotional expression was mistaken for weakness. In parts of Asia, success and achievement often overshadow emotional connection. In Europe and America, hyperindividualism, divorce, burnout, and emotional disconnection have fractured many families. Different cultures, same wound. Research from sub-Saharan Africa found parental absence strongly associated with anxiety, depression, substance use, and adverse psychological outcomes among young adults. Across continents, millions of children are growing up with fathers who are physically present but emotionally absent, financially responsible but relationally disconnected, providers but not nurturers. And society rarely talks about emotional fatherlessness because the bills were paid, so everybody assumes the child is fine. But trauma is not always loud. Sometimes trauma looks successful. Sometimes trauma wears a suit. Sometimes trauma gets promoted. Sometimes trauma smiles in pictures. Now here's a tragedy, a generational tragedy. Emotionally absent fathers are often emotionally wounded sons. Men cannot model what they never learned. Many fathers today were never hugged by their fathers, never affirmed, never emotionally understood. So they repeated survival patterns. They provided financially because provision was the only language of love they inherited. And so the cycle continues. A son grows up emotionally neglected, becomes emotionally disconnected, raises another emotionally starving child, generational silence, generational numbness, generational masculinity built on emotional suppression. Most children grow up with a father who provided physically but knew nothing about their dreams, friendships, emotions, or daily life. This is the hidden epidemic. Children living with strangers they call fathers. Now, the big question is, what do children actually need? It's interesting to know that children do not only remember what fathers bought, they remember conversations, attention, safety, laughter, listening, emotional availability. A child remembers who made them feel important, who noticed when they changed emotionally, who asked questions, who stayed mentally present, who taught them how to process pain, who modeled healthy masculinity and emotional maturity. Presence is not proximity. A father can sit in the same house for 20 years and still never emotionally arrive. Now listen carefully. This conversation is not about hatred. It is not about blaming fathers endlessly, because many fathers themselves were carrying invisible wounds. This conversation is about awareness. Healing begins when silence ends. Healing begins when men stop confusing emotional suppression with strength. Healing begins when fathers understand that children spell love as Time, time, and not money, not gifts, not occasional lectures. Presence, intentionality, emotional connection. Research consistently shows children thrive better emotionally and psychologically when fathers are actively engaged in nurturing and emotional involvement. And for the adults carrying these wounds right now, you are not doomed to repeat the cycle. You can learn emotional intelligence. You can heal. You can unlearn survival patterns. You can become emotionally available. You can become the father you never had. Now this is a final call to action. To every father listening, your child does not only need your salary, they need your eyes, your words, your attention, your listening, your warmth. One day, your children will not remember how busy you were. They will remember how emotionally available you were. And to every son, every daughter, carrying invisible wounds from emotional fatherlessness, your pain is real. But your story does not have to end in bitterness. You can heal. You can break the cycle. You can build emotionally healthy families. You can raise children who never have to beg for your attention. Because the greatest inheritance a father can give his children is not wealth. It is emotional presence. And maybe, just maybe, the world heals when fathers finally learn how to truly arrive. Do well to click the like button, turn on the notification bell, and join the conversation in the comment section. Expect the next episode as we dig further into this conversation. Thank you for sharing your time with us on this channel.